Um, right now, we're going to have Tanya Tygeson to give us a tribute about their Tanya's son who met with a tragic accident. Tanya? There we go. This little thing here, my son worked in Bellingham with one of his very best friends, Vaughn, in a sign fabricating shop. And when he died and Vaughn came over to the funeral, he had made us and Jesse's wife these little plaques, and it has JT and then in memory of and rest in peace. And in the very back, Jesse's nickname was Worm. And in the back here, you can't see it, but it has Worm written in here. He had made these for us, and I thought it was really special, so I brought it along to share with you. And we also had these memory pamphlets made at Jesse's funeral. And we had several extras made over, and if any of you would like some of these, I'll put them over on the table, and feel free to take one also. And another thing that anybody that knew Jesse, he was into lots of extreme sports, but snowboarding was his love. And Zoomies stickers, if you ever came to our house, Zoomies stickers were everywhere. And at his funeral, his friends came up with the idea on his coffin. They all wanted to be a part of it, so we put markers up there, and everybody went up and signed his coffin and put Zoomy stickers on it. And so these are some of the Zoomy stickers, and if anybody would like a Zoomy sticker, they're over there too. So we brought those to share. And these are some of the pictures also that were there. This is Jesse's wife, Ruth Anna, and Jesse's car, and his little lady in his life, his daughter Bailey, and his other love of snowboarding here. And that's not upside down, that's Jesse doing one of his famous backflips. Anyway, I shall attempt to get through this. Being a wife and a mom were always a big goal in my life growing up. I always treated my dolls as real babies. I always adored kids. And when my own started to arrive, we were thrilled. We always wanted 3. Chelsea, our youngest, our inspiration, always full of high expectations and aspirations. Cozy, our second born, a life of dreams unrealized, but still cherished and never forgotten. Jesse, our first, our bundle of energy. No idea was too small for him, no mountain too big. We knew we were in for trouble when at 10 months, I walked into the kitchen one day and found him on top of our kitchen cabinets. He had started walking at 9, and I left a couple of drawers open, and when I walked into the kitchen, I suddenly realized that I was in big trouble. Then he had taught himself how to ride bikes by the time he was 5 years old. Another bike story we had with Jesse was he had a favorite cousin, Krista. We had grounded him from his bicycle, but his sister had a bicycle that was about this big, and Jesse was, what, about 12? Well, it was a little pink Schwinn bike, but it was very small, and Jesse was about 12, and he decided that he needed to go talk to his cousin one night, and it was probably about midnight, and they live about 4 miles out of town, so Jesse rides his sister's bike, and the next morning I get a call from my cousin saying, "Did you know Jesse was out visiting his cousin last night?" They just needed to talk, so Jesse was always full of surprises for us. At about the age of 13, he fell in love with snowboards and never looked back or slowed down. Amnesia, neck fracture, concussions, dislocated elbow, just to name a few. His true loves were slopestyle and big air when it came to snowboarding. When he was practicing, his tunes were always playing. His big dream of turning pro had finally come true. He had gotten a sponsorship just before he died, and that winter he had a pro sponsorship. Jesse had a lot of bumps along the way, and some of them pretty big, but he had always faced them headlong, and he had taken ownership of them. One of the early on that for Jesse that had caused a lot of issues in Jesse's life is one of Jesse's first girlfriends had been killed in a car accident when he was in just his early teens, and that had caused a lot of unresolved issues for him. And when she had died, Jesse had carved this cross out to put along the road where she had died, and because of where she had died, it just never really worked to put that cross along the road. So when Jesse died, we took that cross that he had carved for her, and it's now by the road where he was killed. Loyalty was always huge to Jesse. He would do anything for his family and friends, sometimes to the detriment of himself. In Jesse's late teens, he went to Young Life camp in Malibu up in Canada. It made a huge impact in his life, and it was there that he met his Bellingham friends. They were an amazing group of friends. Jesse could always count on them, and they have been there solidly for Bob and Chelsea and I.